selected verses, starting with verse 6. Beware of practicing your piety before others in order to be seen by them. For them you have no reward from God in heaven. And whenever you fast, do not look dismal like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces as to show others that they are fasting. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face, so that your fasting may be seen not by others, but by your God who is in secret, and your God who sees in secret will reward you. The word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
My silly confession this morning is that I really don't care for the cartoon show The Simpsons. It's not something I watch terribly often. But my son, who was home during Christmas break, likes it. So being the good mother that I was, it was on the TV show, on the television station, so I watched it. This one was a particularly interesting episode. Homer goes to a sushi joint, and while he's there, he eats some raw fish. And it's bad. It makes him sick. And in a panic, he rushes to the doctor, and he gets the terrible news that he only has a few days to live. Only in The Simpsons, right? He's told he better get things together and tie up loose ends and make plans. Like any of us would be with such a pronouncement, he's scared. And he faces his mortality on that particular day. And he decides that he has let too much pass him by. He has to do something, because after all, his life and his days on this earth are numbered. So he creates his bucket list. Now you can imagine what might be on Homer's bucket list. But the rest of the episode deals with Homer frantically trying to accomplish everything that's on this very long list. He makes a video for his children. He makes amends with his dad. He goes to the tavern to share a drink with all his friends. But sadly, no matter how hard he tries, he cannot get everything done in time. He speeds things up and frantically drives from place to place, only to get a ticket and end up in jail. Now, as the episode slows down and comes to an end, it shows Homer silently getting out of his bed, visit his children while he's sleeping, and in deep sorrow heads downstairs, where he listens to the Bible on tape, narrated by Larry King, no less. We see the sun rise, and Homer's head slumps in the chair. Now Marge, Homer's wife, comes running in down to find Homer sitting in the chair with his head down. She sees him and is sure that he is dead. The tears start to flow, and she hugs him. And then she discovers the telltale signs of life. The warm Homer drool. She awakens him, and together they dance in the living room, overjoyed that Homer is still alive. In his joy, Homer vows to do things differently this time. He vows to live life into the fullest. The scene fades out. I thought, well, there's a positive message. It zooms back in, and there's Homer, back on the couch, watching a bowling tournament, drinking beer, and eating pork rinds. Nothing has really changed. We all will come to that moment where we find ourselves face to face with our mortality, just like Homer. You folks minister to people who face that frequently. We will look at our lives like Homer, we'll look at our grown kids, and we will wonder the same thing that Homer wondered. Have I done this right? Have I lived the life that God intended for me to live? Have I done it the way I should have? Behind the season of Lent, behind the liturgy, behind the symbolic ashes on our forehead, there is a gift. A simple gift. Now, I don't know if any of you have been watching the presidential debates, but I have. And there was a town meeting style debate where a rabbi stood and told the story that some Jews are taught that everyone should have in their pockets 2 slips of paper. One written in Hebrew that says, I am only dust and ashes. And on the other, for me, the whole world was created. He wanted to know with the candidates how they were going to keep their life in balance. Remembering that they are only ashes, but for them, the whole world was created. Each time they would reach into their pocket, they would be reminded of these 2 verses and how it was so important to keep their life in balance. Lent is our reminder. It takes us on a journey down the road of chaos and hurt and the pain of death and the realization that at the end of that, there's a promise. A new hope is revealed. And from that moment, from our ashes to ashes, the whole world, the whole universe was created for us. Those ashes reminded us of our immortality and the gift that we will receive at the end of those 40 days. And we must make this journey. We can start over. We can overcome the chaos, the hurt, the pain, and we can experience new life. We can turn around from those things that are getting us nowhere and embrace those things that will get us everywhere. So I call it to you this holy Lenten season. I call you to a holy fast. The Pope asked that practicing Catholics fast on indifference. Don't let indifference take over your life. Put it away, because without indifference, we can be called to action. We should be called, all of us, to do something very, very similar. We should fast from worry and feast on hope. We can fast from complaining and feast on appreciation. We can fast from negativeness and only think about the positive. Or you may choose to fast from hostility and feast on tenderness instead. We can fast from bitterness and feast on forgiveness. Fast from self-concern and feast on compassion. Fast from thoughts of illness and feast on the healing powers of God. Fast from words that pollute and feast on the words that purify and glorify others. Fast from discontent and feast on gratitude. Fast from anger and feast on optimism. And the one I have to work on the most, fast from personal anxiety and feast on eternal truth. Fast on the thought